What is up, my Wolfpack? My name is Lobito. Today we're talking about the controversy surrounding Sykkuno and the allegations that have recently gone viral. This story has exploded online, with thousands of people taking sides almost instantly. But before we get into it, I want to be very clear. This video is not about blindly defending anyone, and it's also not about joining a mob. It's about looking at the situation with nuance. Because while some of the alleged behavior being described may raise eyebrows, that does not automatically justify turning private relationships into public spectacle, especially when the timing, presentation, and intent behind it can also be questioned. So let's talk about what happened and why this entire situation feels more complicated than people are making it out to be. On April 10th of 2026, a long Google Doc was released by Tema EVT, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, accusing Sykkuno of lying, manipulating women, love bombing, cheating, and using his status as a large content creator to pursue smaller content creators. The Google Doc includes screenshots of private messages, descriptions of phone calls, claims of gifts and financial support, and a voice call recording that the author says contains admissions. At first glance, it's easy to see why people reacted strongly. The claims are serious, but serious claims also require serious scrutiny. Because once something like this is posted online, especially against someone with a massive audience, the damage is immediate, regardless of what's actually true. And that's where things start to feel uncomfortable. A big part of this controversy comes down to one question: should this have been made public in the first place? From everything shown, what's being described is a large, messy, complicated, private relationship. Two adults talking, flirting, making plans, exchanging gifts, having emotional intimacy. Even if Sykkuno was dishonest about his relationship status, and if that's true and that's obviously wrong, cheating and bad relationship behavior, while hurtful, are not the same thing as criminal abuse. That distinction matters. Because in the internet age, people often collapse all wrongdoing into the same category, and that can be dangerous. A failed relationship, dishonesty, or emotional manipulation, if proven, can absolutely make someone a bad partner. But that doesn't automatically mean every private failing should be broadcasted to millions of people. Another thing people are questioning is the intent behind the document. The way it was structured, dramatic storytelling, carefully selected screenshots, emotionally charged language, and a public call for other women to come forward. All of that makes it feel less like closure and more like a public takedown. And that's important to acknowledge. Because when something is presented in a way designed to go viral, it naturally raises questions. Was the goal accountability? Was it revenge? Was it to protect others? Or was part of this also about attention? Those are fair questions. And of course, that doesn't automatically make the allegations false, but it does mean people should be cautious before treating everything as questionable truth. There is also a bigger issue here that goes beyond just Sykkuno. A lot of fans build up creators in their minds. They create this image of who someone is: sweet, awkward, innocent, perfect. But at the end of the day, streamers, vtubers, content creators in general are still people. They are flawed, they make mistakes, they can be selfish, they can lie, and that can be disappointing. But part of the problem is that people place these creators on pedestals to begin with. So when the reality doesn't match the fantasy, the fallout becomes explosive. That is not to excuse bad behavior, because if Sykkuno was leading people on, being dishonest, or acting selfishly behind the scenes, the criticism is fair. But fans also need to understand that public personas are not real intimacy. No creator owes people perfection. One of the biggest reasons people are skeptical is because this feels like something that could have been handled privately. Where have I heard that before? If the goal was truly to warn his girlfriend or protect specific people, there were already private channels for that. Instead, this was released in a way that guaranteed maximum attention. And let's be honest, attaching yourself to a huge creator controversy brings visibility. That is a reality. Again, pointing that out doesn't mean the author is lying, but it does mean that people should recognize how online culture can incentivize public callouts. Sometimes exposing someone is necessary, but sometimes people also know exactly how much traction a scandal like this will generate. And both things can be true at once. Now, my personal take, if Sykkuno really did lie about being in a relationship, talk to multiple women at once, and create false expectations, then that reflects badly on him. That's not something to brush off. But at the same time, I also think this situation has crossed into something unhealthy. This has become less about truth and more about public destruction, and that helps no one. Not the people involved, not the audience, not anyone trying to actually understand what happened. Private issues, unless there's genuine danger or criminal behavior involved, should ideally stay private. Because once the internet gets involved, nuance dies. And all that's left is outrage. Now, I gotta mention Mujin real quick. He was so fast to make a video on this. Not even 2 hours later of the Google Doc being dropped, and he already has a video. And it is confirmed that this person is friends with Mujin. So Mujin had everything beforehand. I hate how Mujin has become this sort of like mercenary when it comes to drama. He's just there to push the initial narrative so that he can benefit from it. And also I gotta talk about Kiari. Kiari is another VTuber that has blatantly lied about her age when she met Sykkuno, when she talked to him. She has blatantly lied about her age back in 2020. And it has been proved that she herself, with previous tweets, basically calls herself out because it is all context that doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. She wasn't a minor when Sykkuno talked to her. So what is this sphere turning into? We have people blatantly, first of all, we have people being blatantly biased. People, quote-unquote reporters, being biased. This is CNN level of misinformation. And then we have people, blatantly lying to make the situation worse for the accused. And again, I'm not defending Sykkuno here, but I think this should have been handled privately. And then we have the cloud chasers trying to get a piece of the cake just because they need their engagement. Guys, at the end of the day, none of us were there. We only see fragments, screenshots, messages, clips, and people's interpretations. So instead of instantly picking a side, maybe the smarter thing is to step back and recognize that real life is often messier than internet narratives make it seem. What do you think, guys? Do you think this was necessary? Do you think this brings some sort of accountability? Or do you think this crossed the line into public character assassination? Let me know in the comments, okay? If you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, activate that notification bell. I am Lobito, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.